Well, Manir,
freshness. And you hear it every time you open a jar of Campbell's delicious new soups. Soup stock so full with fresh carrots, fresh celery, fresh onions, and firm pasta, we had to put them in glass just to show them off. Campbell's fresh tasting, best tasting new soups in resealable jars. Sounds good, doesn't it?
it sure does.
The new fresh tasting soups from Campbell's.
Weather. Every day it moves and changes. There's something happening somewhere, and we bring you all of it in WeatherScope, the day's top weather stories, with live on-the-scene reports during major breaking events, up-to-the-minute forecast for the nation and specific regions, and fascinating insight that lets you understand exactly what's happening and why. WeatherScope, it's all the weather you want, every 30 minutes on the hour and half hour on the Weather Channel.
This morning's local forecast is sponsored by Rain-X, the invisible windshield wiper for improved visibility and driving safely.
This is WeatherScope.
Rain, high winds, and lots of snow. That's what's ahead for many in the Northeast. Good morning, everyone. This Monday morning, I'm Lisa Moser. Welcome to WeatherScope. It's almost April, but we're looking at the potential for a two-day event that could leave a wintry mess battering the Northeast coastline and dumping snow over the inner parts of New England. With more on the details of this developing storm system, let's go to the Forecast Center with Cheryl Lemke. Good morning, Cheryl.
Good morning, Lisa, and good morning, everyone. And thanks for tuning in today as we are gearing up for a major late-season winter storm for the Northeast. As Lisa's been hinting at, there is that possibility for some very heavy wet snowfall for the Northeast and some fierce winds. Winds at times could be gusting close to hurricane force for some areas in the Northeast. So definitely we have a major headache on our hand in the Northeast. Now right now this storm is still very much in its embryo stages. It's still developing, but we think that by later on today the heavy wet snow and the strong winds will start to kick in. Well, right in the path of this major winter storm is our very own Rick Griffin. He's up in West Andover, Massachusetts, which is just to the northwest of Boston. Good morning, Rick.
Well, Cheryl, good morning to you as well. I'll tell you, as we arrived at Logan Field last night, there were a lot of folks that were wearing short pants and shirt sleeves, but everybody was whispering about the snowfall that was coming the way of southern New England during the next 24 hours. We don't have snow right now, obviously. It's a wet, a little bit of a breezy Monday morning here in Andover, Massachusetts. We're about 15 or 16 miles north of Boston. The rain started a couple of hours ago, and again, it continues to be a light rain. The most noticeable change in the weather recently has been the fact that the wind has picked up a little bit out of the east-southeast, and that's probably an indication that the low pressure center off to our south and southwest is beginning to intensify somewhat. Again, it's in the low 40s right now. There's no snow in the area, but as that storm intensifies, it'll draw in colder air. We'll get some cooling in the atmosphere, and we do expect readings here to fall through the 30s, and then the rain to change to snow later on this afternoon and this evening. Since it is raining right now, of course, there are no traffic problems. 495 out here, one of the major highways in the Boston metro area, moving along pretty good. There's a lot of talk about the snow coming up, indications that maybe we'll be looking at near blizzard conditions later today. It'll be a heavy, wet, wind-driven type snowfall, and there's talk about the possibility that trees and power lines could be brought down by the weight of the snow, which could total a foot in some areas here in northeastern Massachusetts. And we'll be here on the scene to keep you up to date. Back to you, Cheryl.
Thanks, Rick. That's right. According to our latest forecast models, there is that possibility for some very heavy snow. So even though right now it's kind of quiet, things are definitely going to be changing for you later on today. Thanks, Rick. We appreciate the update. Again, that was Rick Griffin reporting live from West Andover, Massachusetts. As Rick was mentioning, we are definitely keeping very close tabs on a developing storm system in the northeast. Let's check out the water vapor imagery right now because it helps to show us the various components of this winter storm. Now, our main surface low currently is located just off the mid-Atlantic coast, but you can see that other comma-shaped cloud cover that's dropping down across the lower lakes in the Ohio Valley. Well, that's indicative of our upper level low, and that too will start to blend and merge in with our surface low, and that then will really help to energize our storm system a little bit later on today. Right now, again, the low currently just off the coast there. It continues to draw in moisture from the Atlantic. There is some colder air now being pulled down from Canada, but we'll see even more colder air being drawn down. So a lot of the areas seeing rain this morning will eventually see that turning over to snow. It is raining, though, very hard this morning from Philly up towards Newark and Wrightstown. New York City seeing some pretty good heavy rain right now, too, around Islip and JFK. Be really careful as you're heading off to work or school this morning. Now, what we're seeing this morning, there will be nothing compared to later this afternoon. That's when the low really gets cranky. Notice the tightly packed isobars. That indicates very strong winds raking the northeast, and with that moisture being drawn in from the Atlantic and that colder air continuing to be pulled down from Canada, we'll be seeing some very heavy, wet, slushy snowfall. So again, starting off as heavy rain, turning over to heavy snowfall, and that could coincide very close to the evening rush hour. So it's going to get even worse later on today. Heaviest snows for the mid-Hudson Valley and across the Berkshires, although Boston, you might see close to a foot of snowfall, and around New York City, maybe 3 to 6 inches of snowfall by later this evening. As the strong winds rake across the coastline today, gale and storm warnings have been posted appropriately, and we also have the possibility